Welcome to Rock Painting Workshops, and today we're going to be creating a colouring in book rock is what I call them, and we're going to do a cloud with a rainbow. So here I'm using a regular pencil, and it is a mechanical pencil because I find that really easy to use, no need for a sharpener, and I'm just sketching out the design onto the rock. And here we'll just pop in, like make it quite a cute look, and we'll just put a little smiley face on the cloud with some cheeks in there. And see, I've changed my mind on the shape of the cloud. So with the pencil, that's really easy to do. I'm just sketching out the ideas onto the rock. And here I'm just I saw that I need to change the curve of my rainbow as I went, and I'm just drawing all those around. I'm not doing every colour of the rainbow, it's just a cartoonish look, so 4 colours will be fine, and we'll choose which ones in a minute. And it doesn't really matter if you make a mistake at this point, because we will take our permanent acrylic paint pen and we will put in the permanent line onto the rock. And this is how we create the colouring in page look. So just like a little kid's colouring in book that you get, and it's just got the straight black lines, that's what we're creating on the rock. I'll just add there. I go off the edges if it doesn't all fit on the rock, that's not a problem. That doesn't worry me. And keep going. This black line is not going to be my final black outline. This is just a guide, so I know where I'm going with my colour. I like to put in everything, including the face, just so I can see where everything's going to sit on the rock. And I'm happy with that one. So I did erase the pencil lines and didn't manage to catch it on the camera. But all I do is when the black pen is dry, and it only takes a minute or so, then I erase the pencil lines so that it's ready to colour in. And here I'm just going to start. I'm using acrylic paint pens, and the brand I'm using is Posca, but I also like to use the Tuli Art brand and Artistro brand. They've both got really great acrylic paint pens, which is really suitable for rock painting. So here I'm just filling in the lines. I always like to keep the colouring in that I do where I keep the left side free for my visual so I can see it. You can see that I painted one side of the red and then I flip the rock and I'm painting the other side, so I can always see where I'm painting and not leaning across my colour. Now, because paint pens bleed when they touch each other, like 2 wet paint pens, when they touch each other, will bleed into each other. So I'm going to skip a row on the rainbow and I'm going to paint the next colour down. So I'll just continue on with the green colour. And like I was saying before, I like to turn the rock around so that I can always keep the colouring in the area off to my left, and that's because I'm right-handed. Obviously if you're left-handed, you'll turn it the other way. So here I've got my blue and I'm just going to colour in the cloud, and I'm just doing a nice thin layer of blue onto the rock. And like I've explained in my other video tutorials, I know I've painted the face and a lot of people say, oh, what a waste of time or effort, now you're painting straight over the face. I get that. It's not a waste to me because I find that I just get more connected with where the face needs to be when I draw that in the very beginning. And so I'm happy just to colour straight over it. Acrylic paint pens are opaque, so they will start to cover up that colour. But at this point, I'm only just painting in a nice thin layer of acrylic paint. This is going to be my first layer, and I like to do 2 layers. I don't do it too thick on the first go. Okay, I just let that paint soak to the rock, and then I'll let it dry. It only takes about a minute, and then I'll put the second coat on to even out the colour. And that's, if you had a porous rock, that would soak in a little bit, This one's quite shiny, so it's sitting on top. So I'm just creating that thin base layer with my colours. And I'll just pop purple in as the fourth colour here. Just colour in that area. You can even see on the red, there's a little spot there that didn't quite connect with all the coverage. Like it's soaked out a little bit, soaked into the rock a little bit differently. And that's okay, that's going to fix up on the second coat, second layer of paint pens. So here we have the painted rock, and I've done 2 layers of it. I didn't bore you with sitting through it all and taking a couple of minutes for it to dry and repaint. And when you do a thin layer of paint, it really does dry in a minute or so. So I'm going to do some shading, and you can see how I dipped my brush and wiped it onto the green microfiber cloth that I have there. I did go off camera and I have dipped my paintbrush onto the tip of my pen, and I'm sorry that didn't pick up in the camera. So I didn't magically appear with blue paint or anything. I've just got a darker shade of Posca pens. I took my damp brush and I just wiped it on top of the pen. Here I've got the same pen. I'm just creating a darker edge to it because it's darker where the join is, and then it fades out. So you can see I'm just touching the edges to just fade that in with the rest of the shading. I'm keeping the darkness right on the edge there. And if there's too much blue, you can go back and you can add some of the lighter blue in it and shade back the other way. So now that the paint's dry, and you can see how quick that happened, is I'm going to now create the outside line. So before, the line that I created was the colouring in line. That just helps me place what direction I'm going to go. Now I'm using the black acrylic paint pen in a fine line size. This is a 0.7 mm in size, and you can get this in the Posca, Chilliart and Artistro ranges. They all have this size pen, and you can see I'm just putting in all my outlines, working with the bumpy rocks. We all know they're not smooth, and so I just work with those bumps and lumps and little divots and just keep outlining the picture on your rock, going around all the outside edges. We're going to be adding in the eyes and the mouth, making just like a little bit more cartoony looking. I'm going to put some cheeks on him as well, because it's always a cute look on the cartoon rocks. So we're just dabbing some coral onto his cheek. You can see little dots, nothing perfect, and dabbing my finger on top just takes it into, I'll just make that a bit bigger. Yeah, just takes it into not perfect circle look, but rather than a little bit of a washed out nice coral colour for the cheeks. Take the white pen and add some highlights. This is just where you think that the light is going to hit on your picture. The dots in the eye, light always reflects a little bit on the eyes. And I'm just taking the white pen to pop in some highlights onto all the different colours on the rock. Just adds a little bit more interest to your image. You know, I don't even know why I'm putting these blue dots here. I just felt the rock was a little bit empty. Adds a little bit of cuteness to it. And there you go, your rainbow cloud is now finished. So I'd love to see your rainbow clouds. Come over to our Facebook page at Reef Rocks Free Workshops and show us what you created.